We're counting down 7 celebrities whose relationship with firearms defies Hollywood's usual script. From disciplined training transformed by internet myth to lifelong owners who reject simple political labels, each spot on this list is earned by public, verifiable actions. Let's begin, starting with number 7. Joe Rogan's podcast reaches millions every week, but his approach to firearms stands apart from viral celebrity myths. Instead of posturing or dramatizing, Rogan invites firearms instructors, competition shooters, and safety experts into long-form conversations. Rogan repeatedly emphasizes the need for proper instruction and legal compliance, steering clear of sensational tactics and political endorsements. His audience, spanning over 11 million per episode, hears a consistent message: education and safety come first. By normalizing open, expert-led discussion, Rogan's platform makes responsible gun culture accessible without glamorizing it or crossing into tactical advice. Ice-T's relationship with firearms is rooted in experience, not image. Before his music and acting career, he served in the United States Army from 1975 to 1979, stationed at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii with the 25th Infantry Division. That period, by his own account, provided structure and discipline at a time when his life could have gone in a very different direction. Ice-T has never shied away from discussing his past, but he draws a clear line between his entertainment persona and his real-world beliefs. When asked directly about gun ownership, he is blunt. He says, "I'll give up my gun when everybody else does." For him, firearms are not about bravado or politics. They are about legality, education, and personal responsibility. He speaks openly about the importance of knowing the law, and he stresses that ownership comes with consequences. Ice-T's background and message challenge stereotypes about who owns guns and why, making his stance both credible and difficult to dismiss. Tom Selleck's relationship with firearms stands apart from the tactical and political noise that often surrounds celebrity gun ownership. For decades, he has quietly built a collection focused on American history and craftsmanship, including Winchester rifles, custom shotguns, and Sharps models, each chosen for their story and build quality rather than modern utility. His attention to detail is well documented. Selleck has commissioned custom shotguns that can take years to complete, and he works closely with gunsmiths to preserve traditional techniques. That collector mindset extends to public education. Selleck donated several film-used Sharps rifles, including the iconic model from Quigley Down Under, to the National Firearms Museum, where they are displayed as part of America's heritage. His commitment goes beyond collecting. Selleck served for over 10 years on the board of the National Rifle Association, and he appeared in national campaigns as a spokesman for Second Amendment rights. For Selleck, firearms are cultural artifacts, not symbols of power or activism. His approach reminds us that gun ownership can be about preservation, history, and respect for craft, not just contemporary debates or personal defense. Angelina Jolie's public identity centers on humanitarian work and global activism. Yet her approach to personal safety stands in sharp contrast to the image often projected by the media. In interviews, Jolie has spoken candidly about keeping firearms for the protection of her family, describing the decision as a matter of responsibility rather than ideology. Her experience with firearms began as professional necessity. She trained extensively with real weapons for roles in films such as Salt and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, working under the supervision of technical advisors to ensure accuracy and safety on set. Outside the demands of movie roles, Jolie has been clear. The choice to own and train with firearms is rooted in a commitment to her children's security, not in any desire to make a public statement or to challenge policy. She has emphasized that supporting safety frameworks and advocating for legal, responsible ownership are not mutually exclusive. In Jolie's case, the lines between activism, privacy, and preparedness do not blur. They coexist, defying the simplistic narratives often attached to celebrity gun ownership. Brad Pitt's relationship with firearms defies the standard script for Hollywood's progressive elite. In interviews, Pitt has described guns as an ordinary part of his American upbringing, recalling how he learned to shoot as a child growing up in Missouri. He is not interested in tactical gear or modern trends. His preference leans toward classic platforms, bolt-action rifles, break-action shotguns, and historical pieces that speak to tradition rather than spectacle. In 2012, in an interview with the Daily Mail, Pitt put it plainly. He said, "America is a country founded on guns. It is in our DNA." That perspective is neither an endorsement nor a rallying cry. It is a statement of cultural fact, delivered without apology or political posturing. Pitt keeps his ownership quiet, refusing to let it become a spectacle or a political football, but he has never denied it when asked. His approach undercuts the idea that gun culture belongs to one side of the political spectrum. For Pitt, familiarity with firearms is woven into his personal history, not his public activism. That distinction matters, especially in an industry where privacy can be mistaken for secrecy and ownership for advocacy. Pitt's stance broadens the conversation, showing that gun ownership is not a partisan badge, but a personal detail that can coexist with a progressive public identity. Halle Berry's approach to firearms training shattered expectations from the moment behind-the-scenes footage of her preparation for John Wick. Berry, already an Oscar winner, entered the world of high discipline, competition-style shooting under the same professional system that shaped Keanu Reeves for the franchise. Her regimen went far beyond basic movie prep. Over 6 months, Berry drilled with live firearms, running through rapid reloads, precision target transitions, and complex movement patterns, always under the watchful eye of competition shooters and technical advisors. Instructors and stunt coordinators described her drive as relentless, with public praise highlighting her discipline and focus. One trainer said, "She put in the hours and dedication. Shooting is just like any other martial art, and she nailed it." Yet the reaction to Berry's competence exposed a double standard. Media coverage often framed her skill as a surprise, asking why an actress would pursue such technical mastery. Online forums speculated about her personal life, conflating role-based training with lifestyle choices or political positions. Scrutiny rarely applied to male counterparts. Berry herself kept the focus on professionalism, never claiming advocacy or personal ownership. But the narrative around her refused to separate skill from identity. Her case lays bare how women in Hollywood face amplified skepticism when demonstrating proficiency with firearms, regardless of context or intent. In Berry's story, competence alone became controversial, revealing more about public bias than about her own choices. Keanu Reeves stands at the center of one of Hollywood's most persistent gun myths. Official footage from the John Wick franchise shows Reeves running live fire drills at Taran Tactical Innovations, executing rapid magazine changes, and moving through competition-style shooting courses with precision. The trainers, veteran competition shooters, not military tacticians, designed every drill to serve the choreography and the camera, not real-world combat. Each session was supervised, and every movement was corrected for safety and repeatability. These sessions, released as part of Lionsgate behind-the-scenes press materials, were labeled with context, film preparation under instructor guidance for the sake of authenticity. Within days of that footage hitting the internet, the narrative changed. Captions vanished. Reddit threads and YouTube channels reposted the clips with new titles such as "Keanu Reeves is an elite operator" and "Hollywood's secret badass." Comments speculated about a hidden military background, former Special Forces credentials, or real-world tactical expertise. Not true. Reeves has no military service, no law enforcement background, and has never claimed otherwise. The footage documents repetition and discipline, not combat. The mechanics of myth are simple. Original context is stripped away, instructor voices are erased, and the line between movie realism and lived experience is blurred by repetition. Reeves' approach never wavers. In interviews, he credits his trainers, emphasizes the importance of safety, and calls the work a form of martial arts. He submits to correction and never portrays himself as anything more than a dedicated actor preparing for a demanding role. The real story is about respect for the process, for the instructors, and for the boundaries between fiction and reality. Reeves's training became a legend not because of what he did, but because of how quickly the internet chose to believe the myth instead of the facts. Across all 7 entries, one pattern is clear. Celebrity gun ownership is less about bravado and more about responsibility. The public narrative rarely matches reality. These stories prove Hollywood is not monolithic. In the end, discipline, legality, and context, not myth, define the truth behind the headlines.